You are now tuned into Flippin the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
What's going on, Eagles fans? Welcome all to episode 86 of Flippin the Birds. I'm Bryan Cameron. He's Morgan Burkett. And we're finally joined by Mr. Christian Fonte himself after, it's been a good, 6 weeks?
I'm happy to be a guest on the show. Thank you for bringing me on.
You're not a guest. This is your home pod, okay? Well, you were a special guest at the moment, so I didn't say, hey, my co-host is jumping on as a surprise. That's giving away the surprise.
Just got used to the special part being in front of your name. That's the problem. I would have too.
I can still call you special. You want me to call you special?
You can call me. You never call me special.
Yeah, we don't call anybody. I text.
Yeah.
You don't even text.
I don't even text.
I don't know how you communicate.
I could smoke signals.
Guys, apparently so. Because listen, I'll text Chris on a Monday and I hear from him back on a Friday or something.
That's on a good day. That's usually Saturday.
Keeping the carrier pigeon business running. That's what that is.
Yeah. They were said to be extinct, but I brought them back.
Terrible, very terrible.
But
other than that, how you guys feeling today?
Good. I noticed. I mean, Chris brought it up before we started, but the tan. I feel like I'm just brought in here to be pale for some diversity at this point.
It's
I don't know.
Different shades of life right now.
Yeah.
We're like the vanilla Oreo podcast now. We got the two tan cookies and we got the vanilla in the middle right now.
Yeah,
those
are low key. I think the best Oreos. Those are my favorite.
I have s'mores. I have s'mores Oreos in my cabinet right now.
I've never tried them. I'm
over
guessing
at
it's
Target.
Just dark.
And
this is something we never got. We don't have the diversity.
It's because you're Canadian.
Yeah. We got double stuff. That was exciting.
I can't stand double stuff. I hate extra cream. I just want the chocolate.
I love all the cream.
I know you do.
Yeah. You'd like the donuts up here, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, so real quick before we jump into football, Tim Hortons, is that a big thing up by you guys?
Tim Hortons is a big thing in upstate New York. It's upstate New York and Canada.
Oh, yeah?
Bro, I have one probably 2 blocks away, and it's freaking phenomenal.
I'd say we have as many Tim Hortons as gas stations, bro. It's nuts up here.
It's your version of Dunkin' Donuts.
No, it's their version of Starbucks.
It's their version of
Starbucks.
That level.
Starbucks.
Yeah, but
we don't have. So we don't really have Dunkin' Donuts. We don't have Dunkin' Donuts, but it's crazy.
In New York, you have like a Starbucks on every corner, and that's Tim Hortons up there. I went to school in upstate New York, and that was Tim Hortons, and a lot of my friends from college live in Western New York, closer to the Canadian border, and they're like, it's Tim Hortons up there.
In Jersey, it's just a Dunkin' Donuts on every corner. I have like 6 in my town.
In Jersey, it's the sewer water.
It's disgusting coffee. I can't stand Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
I like
that much better.
I like their iced macchiatos and their Americanos.
Crystal drinks this thing called the Charlie Cold Foam now. Apparently, it tastes phenomenal, but I don't know.
The cold foam is good. Cold foam's real good. Yeah,
I can't drink coffee like that.
I don't know if we got the same, but McDonald's coffee up here is pretty good.
It was popping back in the day.
You gotta kick Jeff out the chat because
no wait, you gonna say Sheets?
I'm a Sheets guy. Yeah,
I'm a Wawa guy, bro. I love Wawa.
You would be a Wawa guy. Look at you.
How can you go against Wawa? What's wrong with Wawa?
Like a Wawa guy. I will say that I do like Wawa. I was down on Saturday. I was actually right outside Philly on Friday and Saturday down in Pensacola, New Jersey, for a track meet, and I got my
weird.
Coffee
I didn't get a text message or anything. That's okay.
I know
it's coming. It's coming.
I know
it's coming in the mail.
It's coming at some point, right?
I know you didn't.
The pigeon got shot on the way here.
I was right over the bridge. I was about 15 minutes outside of Philly, and I was I could see the skyline. I was right there. I was like, I want to go, but I had to also watch kids and coach them. And I went to Wawa for my coffee. I felt like a traitor. I did. I felt like I went over there. I was like, I'm Sheets. I'm sorry, but I need to wake up, so I need coffee.
I don't know. My original is Wawa.
It's like
I've
a
been to
foreign
Sheets.
language right now, man. I
Well,
don't know.
so it's kind of like 7-Eleven on steroids. So pretty much, I don't know if you guys had that up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
It's like it's a convenience store, but just super convenient.
right.
I love Sheets.
Well, so
Absolutely love
let's jump
Sheets.
right into it because Christopher Boozer, what's up with the Eagles defense? And we're gonna have
You know what's funny about his name? That we have the same name, and his last name is one of my favorite activities.
I think you're gonna relate it to Carlos Boozer somehow, some way, but I guess not.
No, I just love booze.
And you're getting a coffee replacement in the mail. It's gonna come with my text message.
What the hell is ashwagandha? What?
I have no idea.
Is that from Wakanda? What the hell is that? Ashwagandha. Ashwagandha.
I would love to search that right now, but I'm a little
Is that Namdi's cousin?
I thought it was a player when I first read it.
Mm.
It's from India, apparently.
Yeah, I was getting Namdi flashbacks.
Yeah, I was definitely getting those.
Namdi Asamoah
From
Ashwagandha.
Hey, I thought I was gonna get flack because I was gonna say like I'm a local bean guy, but if you're shipping it in from India, like power to you, man, power to you. That's way more effort than.
I'm
Okay.
making my.
All right,
Okay.
so
There you
send
go.
that over. Send that over to me. It could be like my pre-workout.
Relax into strength. That sounds a little kinky.
Wow.
He grows it.
Wow, Jeff. Okay,
Jeff, we need to connect with you on a different level.
we got a black market coffee right now. Shit. Where's Viral? We gotta talk to Viral about this.
It's a little.
Coming next week is Flipping the Beans, the
Flipping the
coffee
Beans.
podcast for the boys.
Little cafe con leche meets Starbucks.
Froth in the beans.
But we do have a wild announcement for next week. Chris, I'll definitely let you take this because while you were gone, you were still cooking up in the oven, apparently.
Yes, while I was gone, for those of you that missed me, I am a high school varsity track coach, and my life has been taken over by track meets and practice. So I needed to sleep. So by the time I got home from practice, I just went to bed. But during that time away, I texted and emailed and all this stuff. And actually, this one was easy. I texted this guy and I said, "Hey, you want to come on the pod next week?" And he said, "Sure." It's one of our guests that we had actually back in March, and it will be. Click on Jeff's comment. So Jeff, next week we will have linebacker Sean Bradley on the podcast again. He came on in March, and we're gonna talk to him about what's going on who happened to OTAs. How's he liking the new defense? How's he liking Nick Sirianni? So we're very excited to talk to the second-year linebacker next week on Flippin the Birds.
This is gonna be Morgan's first interview. So
Yeah.
a lot of firsts happening today. I mean, your first podcast with Chris, first interview next week, first
I don't
podcast
know.
without a hat.
I don't know which one I'm more excited for, talking to Chris or talking to Sean. It's
They're
really close. But.
Welcome to spicy Chris season. Also, yes, Jeff brings up a good point. That picture of Nick Rallis that from his press conference.
Oh, I know.
The fact that people were saying it was me and all that shit, I'm like,
That's hilarious, bro.
We gotta talk to Sean about this. Like, listen. Is he
Last time we tried talking to Sean about that, and he said, "No, you look actually like Vinny from the Jersey Shore."
Okay, no one said to bring that up.
We could bring up the clip.
No one said to bring that up. No.
No, but I'm clarifying. You know,
I am way too tan to be Vinny.
Does that make you Mike, Bryan?
Hell no.
No, wait, time out. They all have hair. I have no hair. Time out.
Look at that bald ass head.
What's going on with you, Morgan? Are you creating chaos already?
Have you seen Bryan stand up? Oh no, that's Ron. I'm thinking of Ronnie.
What?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Ronnie.
All right, so let's stop thinking about the Jersey Shore. Let's start thinking about defense.
So instead of this, you could have done so much better. You could instead of that situation, we have a different situation because he's Mike the situation. Come on,
bro. You see?
Welcome
That's
back.
a nice glass. Show your glass again. Go ahead. Show your glass. Let's see that glass again.
So a few years ago for my birthday, my wife got this for me.
That's sick.
So it's you put this in there and you pour the water in. So half of it is ice and half of it can be whiskey.
That's phenomenal.
Sometimes I don't put as much ice today, and it's a little watered down. But I am. It was my last bit of my Michter's that I haven't drank in close to a year, probably.
Special occasion.
It is a
It
special
definitely
occasion.
is. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the defense. Let's talk about the defensive ends, the linebackers, and the safeties. I feel like we could probably tee off with the defensive ends. It might be a more easier subject to really talk about, especially with, just really one person that a lot of people are feeling like the Eagles should move on from at this point. And it's no secret, it's Derek Barnett, who's getting paid $10 million for this season. So how are you guys feeling about that?
I think he stays. I would love to see him moved, but I think he sticks around on the roster for this year. I think short and sweet, right? I think that he brings a lot to the table, just in terms of what this defense wants to do. He can two gap. He's a high motor guy, but it's a hefty price to pay for just that. That's what I'll say. But I think we keep him on the roster this year. I don't know who's going to pay for him for 1 year if you got to re-sign him next year, right?
Did Barnett get injured last season?
He's always injured.
Because
Missed a few games here and there.
His snaps from 2019 went from 69% to 49%. He split snaps with Josh Sweat, who ended up with similar numbers to him this season, and probably is the better player off the line of scrimmage, in my opinion. And he's cheap. So now with what's the guy that we signed, Ryan Kerrigan on the line? Like who loses a spot?
I think if someone's going to lose their spot, it's going to be one of the younger guys. Like I think you were looking at. Well, I think Ryan Kerrigan. Sorry, I was very excited for that signing. With Ryan Kerrigan now here, I think you can put an end to the Joe Osman freaking project. Even though I love Joe Osman, he's going to be gone. You look at their draft pick. You got Tyron Jackson. You got Matt Leo, who was their exemption last year, who probably is not making the team. He's probably a practice squad guy again. You have Josh Sweat. Obviously, the four main guys are going to be Kerrigan, Barnett, BG, and Sweat. And that's really, there's no more room because you have Milton Williams now, who's going to be a backup to Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave, who can also kick outside to be an edge rusher. So you can have him rotating into. You have Hassan Ridgeway, who's obviously a defensive tackle, but you have all these young guys that are better than what the depth is. So, like, I think Barnett stays, but I also think at the same time, if the Eagles by trade deadline are not very good, I think he could be a trade piece for maybe a mid-round.
I think if they're at least in the run, you still make that move. I mean, it's $10 million.
Yeah. But I mean, if they keep him in the middle of the season, they have that money. So it's not like they're doing anything with the salary cap that they're going to need to move him for. So like, it's if they're carrying him through the season, they're going to carry him through the season. Who cares what he's getting paid? Is he going to live up to that paycheck? Probably not. But if I think he's either staying the whole season or he's going to get traded at the trade deadline to a team that needs edge help. The Bills come to mind, and if they need edge help, they drafted well in that regard. The Browns before they got Davian Clowney, but what happens if Clowney gets hurt again? There's a lot of teams that need edge help. I think when I wrote an article about possible trade destinations, I put in the Jaguars too. I also put the Panthers. They have Brian Burns. They really have anything else. So you have some teams that are probably call for Derek Barnett if the Eagles are out of it. I'm sure Ryan Kerrigan will be pissed because why did he come to the Eagles for if we're going to be a fucking dumb team? But
so the situation with Kerrigan, could they use him as an outside linebacker opposed to just? I mean, I think the idea is a stand-up linebacker on the edge, right?
I think Kerrigan coming really helps Avery, who is Jeff's question. Jannard Avery was their it was with the Browns. He was linebacker. When he came to the Eagles, they put him at edge, and he sucked. And now they're moving him back to linebacker. I think that goes great for Avery because that was Avery's game. He can drop down and be an edge rusher. He can come back in coverage, and that was Ryan Kerrigan really. So I think Kerrigan can really help Jannard Avery in that regard, and that helps the linebackers too. So I think it's a good thing.
So you think it's a good thing to have, Morgan?
Yeah, I mean they're kind of painting themselves into a tricky situation where you hope that Derek Barnett's good enough in limited amount of snaps where you're still able to trade him and you can trade him. You don't need him on the team, but at the same time he's shown enough that other teams want to trade for him. So I think that what you hope for is that he plays a pretty solid rotational role. Maybe has inflated numbers just because of the situation. He's going to be used as a situational pass rusher, and maybe they can move him somewhere. Like to me, in my brain, I don't know why I'm thinking this, but to me, he just seems like a Raider. Like that, I could see like a team like that's maybe making a late push, maybe on the cusp. I don't see any contenders really trading for him, but similar like Chris brought up the Panthers, teams like that maybe. But you really hope that he's able to show that he still can be a contributing player and a starter, really, if that's what you're trading for with $10 million. I think another person similar to Jannard Avery, I think another person, I mean, they talked about they're moving Patrick Johnson, the rookie, from defensive end to linebacker as well. So that, but similar, that kind of role is very interesting this year. I think we talked about it with Gino on the podcast is I think we might see kind of a rotation between a 4-3 and a 3-4, and maybe even more 3-4 overs. Some people call them 5-2s. But those kind of, jack of all trades players, the edge rushers that can stand up and drop into coverage. We have a few of those on the roster. So I think it just depends on how this team wants to use them. I don't know that Derek Barnett can really do that. So unless he's getting a lot of production as a rotational edge rusher, I don't know who's going to pay that money for him. The Eagles might just be stuck with him. But yeah, I don't know. Josh Sweat's straight up a better player. I think they want to keep Jannard Avery on the roster just to see what he has. And then I really like Taron Jackson. I don't know if he makes the team this year, but I think that I'd rather see him in a rotational role with more Josh Sweat than I would see with Derek Barnett late in the season. So
my thing with them keeping Derek Barnett is kind of what the opposite of what Chris said is I want to see the young guys buck. I mean, if this is a retooling season, like why not let the young guys eat? I mean, Milton Williams has been raved about since he was born and he was drafted.
I love Milton Williams.
So why not trade Barnett, move him, figure out a way to move him. You give Josh Sweat more time to still be that main role player as a backup to either Kerrigan or Graham, and you let Milton Williams eat behind Kerrigan or Graham. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me to pay a defensive end who's played less than 70% of his snaps last season $10 million when you're in a retooling period of your franchise.
It's true.
I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, having a guy like Barnett there will help the young guys too. Barnett, for all that we want to say that he was only good for a fumble recovery, it was in the Super Bowl. So he played against the best AFC team in the league that year, and he performed. And minimal amount of snaps last year, he did perform. It's just that.
But he did have that weird 2018 season.
Yeah.
He just he was getting violent and causing all these penalties for no reason.
Yeah, and he was just hammering Jamal Williams in the head and all that.
Yeah.
So it's he's a weird guy. But and back to that Patrick Johnson thing, I'm not surprised that they're doing that because I didn't. In the mocks, I barely touched Patrick Johnson in my mocks because I saw more of a 3-4 guy, outside linebacker in a 3-4. So Eagles are moving him. So I guess he's doing close to the same thing because they're not a 3-4 team. But now with Jonathan Gannon saying they're going to be kind of this and kind of that and all this other stuff, it makes sense. I'm as much as I think the secondary is still going to be freaking gashed every week. I'm very excited for the linebackers. Which I'm not. I don't remember the last time I said that. Don't.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but I think for the better part of the offseason, you stated that this group of linebackers don't need another addition. They just need to be developed. They need a shot.
Yeah, I never thought that we needed to make. I would have loved it. I absolutely would have loved it, but I didn't see the urgency because this whole group is going to have a new defensive coordinator finally, a new linebackers coach finally, and we're going to see whether or not if they drafted good players or and if they drafted good players and the scheme sucked, or if the scheme sucked because the players sucked. We'll see what it is pretty much this year, but can you kick Jizz out can you kick him out of the chat, please?
So you know what? I'm actually glad you're here, and I'm glad everybody's here. Jiz, I'm glad. Morgan's here and Chris is here.
Can you
So
kick him out?
we've had a rough couple of weeks where somehow, some way, Greg Ward makes his appearance on a podcast every single time. Fizzle and Morgan have been getting angry because I've been saying that Greg Ward shouldn't be on the roster. Now I'm glad you're back.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got my backup. There we go.
I'm here. But, to Morgan's point, Greg Ward is QB2.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's my next move. I'm pitching him for QB2.
The Nick Mullins signing is not a terrible signing.
No, it's not.
I'm curious to see him become
QB4.
QB2 and Flacco get. Can Nick Huffley? Did you say he's a good QB4?
That was a great segue too. I appreciate that. QB2 and Nick Mullins signing. Oof, zip zap. I like that.
You go Jalen Hurts, Greg Ward, Joe Flacco, Nick Mullins.
What do the Eagles gain if they cut Flacco? I mean, what happens?
Respect.
Per se. Any negative?
I'm pretty sure if the Eagles cut Flacco tomorrow, it would be met with zero question. I think that would be one of the few days that Eagles Twitter would be unified. Why did we sign him in the first place? I think it would be one of those days. It's rare. It's very rare. But it probably would be one of those days.
But is there is it a dead cap hit or no? Right? Because it was
probably. Do we think Howie cares about a dead cap hit at this point?
I mean, it took them. They were negotiating Carson to stay because of that dead cap hit. We can't deny that.
It's a lofty cap hit for what he's being paid, but it's minimal. It's 3.5. It's not nothing, but for what he's being paid, I don't know. I feel like you keep him on the roster, but
Flacco's not getting cut. I'm just saying,
I hope Mullins is QB2. To be honest, I think that it's more exciting. Again, if you're looking for a backup, it's gonna be Joe Flacco for this year. You're gonna keep re-signing the kid? I don't think so. But yeah, Mullins. He's kind of a wild card. He's seen some really good games, some not so good games.
He has an arm, and he doesn't care.
Yeah,
he's reckless as hell, but he has an arm.
Thinking about how much this offense has to change for Joe Flacco to come in, I know that it worked with Nick Foles, but yeah, it's a weird fit. I'm surprised they didn't go for some of the other more mobile veterans that were floating around. But is what it is. I mean, he's better than some of the. I mean, is he better than? I mean, he's better than Nate Sudfeld and stuff like that, right? So
I mean, after mulling it over, I like it. See what happens when I'm back? I'm back.
Can we be happy about something that we've been mulling for a while? No more Manscaped ads. We haven't. I have not announced that because you have not been on the podcast, so I don't want to
Yeah, we're Manscaped.
We're moving on.
So we're moving on to bigger and better things.
So Morgan, I'm sorry that you did not get to.
I still use my lawnmower. I still use my lawnmower 3.0 because despite them not wanting us anymore, I still want their smooth lawnmower going down there.
Are you advertising for them right now?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying.
It felt like an advertisement. It's a great product. It just felt like an advertisement.
Just saying.
All right, let's talk about the linebackers. So in my opinion, we have a little bit of an issue. Eric Wilson was signed, and they're promising Mike. Last year, he played right linebacker. Alex Singleton played middle linebacker. Both had over 120 tackles on the season.
And both suck in coverage.
And both are terrible in coverage. Next week, we will have Sean Bradley on, so we could talk about the linebacker core more. But I don't know. I don't see why you would just bump Alex Singleton down after he just broke out last season. It makes no sense to me.
No, it makes sense to me because he's not a middle linebacker. He's not. I mean, he played Mike because he had to. It's one of those things.
Terrible.
It's one of those things like
he wasn't Gary.
Greg Ward, who had to be put in because there was no one else. See, Alex Singleton went in there because there was no one else, but he finally showed that he belonged. How many times in the beginning of the season we're like, play Alex Singleton because look at what he's doing. And he finally gets to start, and he's all over the place. And he's a psychopath. And, but putting him on the edge putting him in Sam or Will, that's his position. So he can attack the passer. He can help stop the run from there, and he just won't drop back in coverage. So
are we confident with Wilson in the middle?
I'm gonna have to be, but I think he's gonna be probably the best Mike true Mike we've had in a while, because Gary was not a Mike. I mean, TJ Edwards is a pretty good Mike, but not
more of a
not
run
really a
stopper
good
than
Mike.
anything. Yeah.
Before that, before getting, I had said his name. Shit. Before the former number 47, there really wasn't. Why do you do that? Now you're gonna bump up his big ass head even more. Like, but it's. I think Eric Wilson, for what he's gonna be asked to do, I think he's gonna be the best that we've had in a while at that point. I mean, it's not much saying much really, but
So
Yeah.
go ahead, Morgan.
Well, I think with Eric Wilson, like I know we talk about it's not necessarily a strength coverage, but compared to what we've had, it's definitely an upgrade. He'll make plays, he'll be in the right position. And I think it's kind of indicative of what this team's going to ask their middle linebacker to do. And I don't think it's going to be a whole bunch of coverage. Again, you're going to see more two gapping from the D lineman. So you're going to see, a little bit more, run stopping responsibility. And instead of just cleaning stuff up, you're going to see them move and have responsibilities a bit more. So I think with Alex Singleton, just because he gives you that versatility, you can move him around. I still think this defense is going to see a lot of dime and nickel looks. So as the second linebacker, you don't really have that, Mike, Will, Sam. You kind of have more of a split. You're splitting the field a bit more. So I think it's good. He's going to excel in that position. I think it's just looking at what else you have on the roster. Right, we're going to have Sean Bradley on next week, and I'm curious to kind of see how he's been training, if they've really been giving him a position, because I could see this team easily, having a somewhat positionless linebacking core. And then TJ Edwards, again, I really like the guy. I think an underrated guy in coverage. I think it just his athletic ability kind of limits him to some extent. I think he's a high IQ guy. But are you going to put him out on an island with a tight end? Probably not. So I think that really it's just a way to get Alex Singleton on the field to move him out and keep him out there. And then I think it's going to be a lot of Sean Bradley with a little bit of TJ Edwards in the mix.
What about Davion Taylor? I feel like nobody's been talking about him at all. And the kid, the whole point that they drafted him was because he's a raw prospect and he has great speed, but we have yet to really see.
I really like him. I really do. But I think just with being such a raw prospect, switching defensive schemes, switching coaches, that's going to be tough for a guy who's still kind of learning the game. So I think later in the season, I think we're going to see more of him. But I do see Sean Bradley with the edge, and TJ Edwards obviously with the edge. But Davion Taylor is going to be a great special teamer for you, and then by next year, I could see him getting a lot more snaps. But yeah, great player.
I agree.
Just you agree with everything. That never happens on the podcast. So Morgan comes along on the podcast and you agree with Morgan.
I added. We made sure to add Morgan, so I had someone to agree with finally.
Yeah.
Because I keep disagreeing with you, and I got to get tired. Like now I'm at stage.
This is on Spanish. This is Spanish on Spanish crime, right?
That's fine. There's no one that hates Puerto Ricans more than other Puerto Ricans.
You know what? That is actually a fact, and I just finished telling my wife that this morning.
100% fact.
I'm dead. I literally had a conversation with my wife this morning about that.
We hate each other so much, and the next person we hate.
Wait, are you saying you hate me? Hold on, time out.
If you want to take that, if you want to listen to that, and
no.
Morgan, that's what you take from
is that not written in stone? What he just said?
I'm not jumping in the middle of that.
What do you mean
after that description, we're not. We're not
That's literally saying that you hate
and then the next one,
Canadians are peacekeepers. I just don't want you guys to yell.
You guys are not.
Don't raise your voices.
Kick us out every time we drive up there.
and then the next one that we hate are Dominicans. Oh, see, he gets it. And they hate us too.
No, that's not the question. The question is, do you hate me?
So, anyways.
No. Ain't no anyways.
Right. No, I got a real question for you, and I hope Fizzle, I hope you're listening to this. Do either one of you thoroughly believe in a one-on-one? Like, if you had to fight this animal, you would win. Okay, you ready?
I feel like we had this conversation before.
You ready? Kangaroo.
No, absolutely not. I would not win.
Unless I could like sneak up on it from behind or something like that.
No, like in a
Unless
full.
you give
Like,
me a
if they
freaking
put you,
I
gun.
feel like I'm real sneaky. I don't know.
if they put you in a boxing match with a kangaroo, are you beating a kangaroo?
Absolutely not.
No.
Who the
Thank
hell
you.
will beat a kangaroo in
Thank
this
you.
podcast or this chat?
Fizzle said he could knock out a kangaroo. Absolutely not. Because the other day there was a Twitter thing that came out with like polls and how many percentage of people that believe that they could beat out a certain animal.
There's
And
that
like,
one video though.
and
That
like
one
someone
video.
said like 16% of people said they could beat a kangaroo. I was like, there's no way in hell no one is beating a kangaroo.
I did see that one video of the guy in Australia just walking up. The kangaroo had its
Oh,
dog
man.
or something like that. And he just
Yeah.
But like,
walked up and just
like,
knocked him in the face. Didn't see
people
it
in
coming.
Australia are fucking psychopaths. Like I don't doubt
That's
that at
fair.
all. But
That's
like
fair.
if an American, as for lack of a better word, as much of pussies we are in America, there's no way a kangaroo's coming up to us and being like, and looking all jacked, and you're gonna beat them. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I completely agree with that. Hold on, what did he say? He said slap the piss out that boy.
Absolutely not.
You are not slapping the piss out of a kangaroo. They're kicking the piss out of you. That's what's gonna happen. Have you not seen the videos and like anything at all?
Absolutely not.
These freaking animals are jacked, like completely jacked. Everybody seen the video on on Instagram and Twitter where it's like flexing on with a guy like that's not even steroid. That's like natural jacked.
Like,
How about Jacoby
let me
Stevens
share
versus the kangaroo?
Let me share my screen. Hold on. Like, look at this guy.
That looks like somebody's
Look
grandfather.
at this guy.
That's crazy.
There's no way you're touching that guy. Like,
Got biceps on biceps.
look
Legit,
at him,
like, look at that kick. That is such a broad kick. Like this is Liu Kang versus like Scorpion.
Look at this. Well, no, there's a
Wait,
freaking
we're
ad
playing
now.
this video. Wait,
All I keep thinking in my brain is like, oh, Chris is back. Like this is,
this is chaos.
Yeah.
It's not even about Eagles football anymore. We're talking about freaking Bronx Zoo right now.
Like, look, watch. And let's find the
Do
fight.
you have the? Can you turn off the audio though?
Males need years of training.
Oh, that
Look at this.
David
Look
Attenborough,
at
bro.
them.
It's like
Look at
music to
them.
my ears.
Look at them. It looks like they're
These
caressing each
are
other.
child.
Like they're kicking each other's asses. Look how nice and neat, like they look. Look how nice, and then they just go after each other. Look, that's the training. They train that young when they see. He's like, no, you got to put all your hands like this. See, and there was.
Maybe we should sign him to be the secondaries coach.
Like, look how jacked this guy looks. Look at him. Look at him waiting at. Look at that guy. Like you're not touching him.
But can they play football?
Look at that guy.
Take a punt. I'm telling you that right now.
look at that guy.
These are jacked, bro.
He's ready to fuck you up. Look at that. Like look at everybody hopping away. Like, okay, this guy's about to fuck us up. Like, okay, right here.
Yo,
Ready?
if
Ready?
you're joining us right now, we're
Ready.
really looking at videos of
Ready.
kangaroos fighting.
Look at that. Oh, look at that. Yo, that's how Fizzle fights. He puts his out like.
Yeah. Good luck in making those clips this week, Bryan.
Oh God,
Look at this.
this is not gonna be fun. We're
Look
going
at
shut
those-
down to 2 clips a week
Look at
now.
those claws.
Can you take
Look
a
at those
kangaroo? Chris the
Like,
base.
look at him. There's no
So his
way-
first
look
week
at
back, and he
that.
wants to debate if somebody could fight a kangaroo. Is
Yeah.
that really
I
what's
mean,
happening
we're all
right
on
now?
your side, Chris.
claws.
Yeah,
Look at
you don't
those
need
claws.
to convince us.
Why are you admiring it so much?
Jeez. Oh, like, look at that. Shit. Yo,
That's a Charlie horse in my life.
like Fizzle. Like, yeah, he does that to your gut, you're done. Like, that's it.
Oh my God.
Okay. I'm
All right,
back.
you know what? Let's move away from linebacker. Let's talk about.
Well, before we
go ahead,
do,
Doug. Do your thing.
before we do, I was going to talk about kind of the back end of it because I'm really interested to hear what you guys think on who makes this roster. So, like in the last 3 years, I did a little
You're trying to
research.
bait us.
It's not like me. We kept six. We kept 6 linebackers. 2018, we kept 5, but then we had Bradham on injury reserve. No, he's suspended. He's suspended. So we're keeping 6 linebackers. Let's say that on average. Which 6 are you taking? So we got Eric Wilson's a lock.
Mhm.
Alex Singleton's a lock.
Yeah.
Then you got TJ Edwards, Sean
Locked.
Bradley, Davion Taylor. TJ Edwards is probably a lock. That's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
because he's
too.
good against the run. And I would think Sean Bradley's a lock because knowing Jeffrey Lurie, and this is not a knock against Sean because we've had him on the pod. We talked about, his potential and everything of that sorts. But knowing Jeffrey Lurie, he's going to want to keep a homegrown talent like that because he's from, the area.
Great special teamer too.
As well, yes. And we saw the 2 or 3 snaps that he did last year on the goal line. He had 2 stops back to back.
Yep.
So the potential is there. I think after Sean, it gets a little iffy because we have the rookies. Who did they convert to linebacker?
Jacoby Stevens and Patrick Johnson. We got both of them.
So obviously one of them is going to hit practice squad. It's probably going to be Johnson.
I would say, Johnson's definitely a lock for the practice squad. But Jacoby Stevens might be there too. I mean, but remember, if they wait too long and they waive them, remember what happened with Casey Toohill?
That is the worst wave in
see
NFL
what happens.
Like, why would they do that?
I mean, this is what I worry about too. Is like I think that Jacoby Stevens is a great prospect. I'm surprised that we got him in 7th. It was 7th, 6th,
no,
6th.
6th.
I thought it kind of matched the Jalen Mills on pick, didn't it?
Yeah, but just a great player. I hope they find a way on the roster. But I'm looking at kind of the logjam at the bottom end. I don't know unless
Davion Taylor makes practice squad too, in my opinion, honestly.
It could be.
Nobody he's such a raw talent. He's not like he's kind of like Mailata in the early years. So Mailata was getting waves, practice squad, wave, practice squad. Now we see what Mailata's actually been doing behind the scenes, and it's it's the fruits of the Eagles patience at this point. Taylor is probably going to be a nice product in like 2 years maybe, unless he makes a wild jump out of nowhere, kind of like Chris's grays off his head.
Listen, it's just on my mind. I'm sorry.
By the way, I'm gonna ask you a serious question. How's your wife? How's the baby coming along?
Yeah, like it's not even him though. Like it's not even like I've been coaching every freaking day. I start camp in 2 weeks.
You're talking about a complaint.
like it's, and then the baby comes.
And when does the baby due?
September 16th. If he comes during game day, I swear to God, he's punished as soon as he comes out of the fucking vagina. Like as soon as he comes out, I'm like, nah, you're going to the corner. You're going to the corner, kid. That's it. You kind of son are you? If he comes during kickoff,
game day, he's a Giants fan. That's what it is.
If he comes during kickoff, I swear to God, he's gonna be punished.
Is that Cowboys week? No. That's the 49ers.
Oh, that's when we face the 49ers.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, if he comes early,
with the Falcons game. You got nothing to worry about. You can miss that
make
game
it for week 1. He's gonna come out on a Kyle Pitts game-winning touchdown, and I'm gonna be.
Don't do us like that. Don't speak it into existence.
Why would you speak that into existence?
So happy and then so angry at the same time.
It's been the last 2 times we played them. They went for Julio in the end zone, maybe 3 times even.
So
in the end zone.
So this year, instead of Jalen Mills on Julio, it's going to be Jacoby Stevens on Kyle Pitts.
No, let's not wish that like that. Why would you do that? Come on.
I'm just saying.
Let's talk about the safety.
Brian's legitimately upset.
Yeah, like why would you do that? Like,
that's what happens when I'm here.
Anyways, let's talk about the safeties.
All right.
I know it's been a big itch for you that you wanted to discuss Kayvon Wallace on the podcast. We raved about him last year. When we spoke to him, we complimented his potential and what he could mean to the city. Weird that he really didn't touch the field last season that much. It's hard to really. I feel like it's so hard to gauge what's going to happen now with a new coaching staff.
Yeah, I don't know. It's unfortunate. I would love to say that he's going to step in and be an immediate starter, but I think, again, you kind of see that logjam. I definitely think he's the 3rd safety. But does he beat out Anthony Harris for snaps? I don't know. If we go to that dime nickel look more often, man, close to the line of scrimmage, there's not many that I'm more excited about. It's crazy. He's a sideline guy. He can drop back in coverage as a blitzer. It's ridiculous. He gets there in a heartbeat. So just having that threat coast line of scrimmage, and then just the edge that guy plays with. Again, I keep bringing this up, but no one's scared of playing the Eagles. And again, this is something that I want to talk about next week. It's just to see what the mood is in the defensive room, because I don't know, it just seems like a scarier defense. It just seems like a cooler defense, like one that I want to be a part of. So just I really hope they find a way to use them. I know that I think we got 30 30-40% snaps, kind of waiting in our third safety position, whoever that might be. So I hope all of those go to Kayvon, so just so we can see them on the field.
So pretty much we're hoping that Kayvon beats on Marcus Epps at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like right now, there's a depth chart website called OurLads.com. They're pretty good with depth charts, actually. I use them a lot. And right now they penciled Marcus Epps in as starter because running club, we don't know if he's going to be healthy or not. So right now they have Epps as starter with Kayvon backing him up, and then you got Anthony Harris at strong safety with Andrew Adams behind him, and then Elijah Riley. It's a weak group on paper depth wise because we don't really know outside of special teams if Andrew Adams can really play. I mean, like obviously he's coming off of the Tampa Bay Super Bowl, but he was a special teams guy there. And that's actually something the Eagles need because their special teams have been fucking horrible the last couple of years. So adding more really good special teams guys isn't necessarily a bad thing, but once it comes to actually playing defense, then we need people who can play that. I really cannot wait for Kayvon Wallace to play more snaps. As much as he's been ignoring my texts, I am excited for him because he's going to be playing with a defensive coach and a defensive backs coach that coached Jamal Adams, and who Jamal Adams has obviously been really going more towards linebacker than safety the last couple of years, but he's still been such an elite player that when you have coaches who have coached these elite players, that's why I'm really excited for the linebackers, because you have Jonathan Gannon who watched Darius Leonard up close and saw that, and you had Eric Wilson out there in Minnesota, but he was also coaching on defense that had really good linebackers. So you're having a coach that coached Jamal Adams and was really good there. Jamal Adams obviously was a elite player for the Jets. He could bring that to Kayvon and say, hey, if you want to be this guy, you got to do this, this, and this, and this. What if the Eagles had the last years? They've had Ken Flaholi. What is he bringing? Corey Emlin. What is he bringing?
He's still Jacksonville.
He's in Detroit.
Okay.
I think he got fired actually with the new regime.
Okay.
You had. I did really like the addition of Marquand Manuel from Atlanta. I really did like him. I was hoping that he would stay. Obviously, they didn't, because in Atlanta he coached with some really good players. You had Deion Jones down there. You had Keanu Neal in Atlanta, but you're bringing all these wealth of knowledge from coaches who have coached elite players, and even freaking Sirianni. I mean, I know he's offense, but he was in San Diego with freaking Melvin Ingram. So like he knows the importance of linebackers, edge rushers. He saw that, and he coached on a defensive. He coached against the defensive team in practice with Casey Hayward, and Eric Weddle, and all these guys that were really freaking good, and maybe we can get that over here. I mean, Doug, we loved him, but he was on a Kansas City staff that, they had Justin Houston, but outside of him, Ken Flaholi, who was he doing? Jim Schwartz, he coached really good linebackers, but obviously that didn't really come here for whatever reason. Like he had Steven Tulloch, who was amazing with him. He had Derek, I forget his last name, but he had really good linebackers. But that didn't come over. But we have a really good young staff that can really unlock Kayvon, and I'm excited for it. And maybe obviously Anthony Harris was with Gannon in Minnesota. So you have that familiarity there. So there's a lot of things to be excited about. Well, do I think they'll be very good on defense next year? No, but I think they will have a lot more spurts of hope than they've had the last couple of years, even without a legitimate CB2 right now.
Okay.
Man, I watched all. Well, I might have missed one or two, but I watched all the coaching interviews, and Denard Wilson was so impressive. Such an impressive guy to hear talk, super straight up, super straightforward. I think if you're looking for guys to develop and develop under a coach, like it's gonna happen. It's a matter of when, but yeah, really excited. Like Chris is saying, like we're gonna be great in a couple years. Might not be this year.
But when Tua continues his interception throwing machine,
Oh my God, 5 interceptions already in
and
minicamp.
they're really bad, we can add more to that defense because you got some defensive players coming out next year that, oh boy, they're really fucking good. And we could start with Devonta Smith's son, Derek Stingley. But Stingley, apparently his kryptonite is Devonta Smith. So since Devonta Smith is on the Eagles, just add Stingley to the Eagles, and then he could just.
But just have some bad practices. That's all it is.
That's it. That's all it is. Just do that. And you got the Miami edge rusher. Oh my gosh, his last name starts with a G. That's gonna freaking bother me.
Rousseau?
No. He's in college right now. He's in Miami. No, it starts with it's an Oregon player who starts with T. Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau, the edge rusher. He's fucking awesome. You have really good defensive players next year. You got the safety Kyle Hamilton. You have Christian Harrison, linebacker. You have Kyer Elam in Florida. You have I don't think they'll go defensive line, but you got the Marvin Leal from Texas A&M. You got Drake Jackson, the edge rusher in USC. You have really good, and you have Zach Harrison, who's an Ohio State edge rusher, and apparently Ohio State just breeds edge rushers. So you have really good options next year with 3 first-round picks. Well, 2, but I get probably 3. That's another thing. Can we please, and I know they're not going to watch this or whatever, but I'm going to say it anyway. Like NBC Sports needs to stop writing fucking articles about Carson Wentz. They really
Is that still going on?
Yeah, they wrote an article a couple days ago like Carson Wentz seems really comfortable with the Colts. Like, who gives a shit? Like okay, great.
Well, you gotta remember, like that's all they have. Like Jalen Hurts as a quarterback or as a player, like he doesn't give the media anything to run with.
He's so
like, the guy's a no nonsense kid.
Yeah,
like he doesn't deal with the BS at the end of the day.
Like focus
bad for
on your
business for them.
fucking team that you cover every day and you get paid for.
They're
Like
not
stop,
gonna do that.
stop looking out. Hey Indy, what's going on over there? What's Carson eating for breakfast today? Stop. He's done. It's over. Like it's been since March 17th, my birthday. Said that when the trade became official, that he has been gone from Philadelphia. Like we are in training, we're allowed to be in training camp, and all we're cared about how comfortable Carson Wentz is with the Indianapolis Colts. Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, that's their bread and butter because I think that's the one thing that I really admire about Jalen Hurts. Like he'll get behind the mic and he'll just give you very subtle answers, kind of like just like brushing you off, like I'm not here for you at the end of the day, kind of answers. Carson and Doug were like kind of forced to answer, and they felt like they had to be obligated to give the tea away pretty much. And Jalen Hurts and company are just not doing it. Even Jeff Stoutland, like him going after McClain last week was phenomenal. Like I love every bit of that.
Here's the thing with that. Like being in like this industry, I'll put quotes around that because we at the end of the day we're bloggers, we're podcasters, and we get it. But being like and talking with people and actually understanding the media part of it, what Jeff asked was a legitimate question. Like that was the first time they really got to talk to a coach who knew about what was going on. They're not going to ask Howie about it.
But the situation was it was the wrong person to ask.
I know they were like it was because it was Jeff. Like I get it, but like you're not going to ask Jeff. You're not going to ask Laurie about that. You're not going to ask Roseman. So they got to the position coach who was the holdover because there's no Deuce Staley anymore. So you can ask the guy like and put it out there. And if it was anybody else, it wouldn't be a reaction from Stoutland that was happened. Like if freaking Les Bowen asked that, he probably doesn't say that. But since Jeff the Snake McClain says that, and I get it, but I also get Stoutland's response. Like it was a good back and forth, and it was appropriate by Jeff because again it was the first opportunity for them to ask that, and it was appropriate for Stoutland to. So I get both. It was funny as hell though.
The key thing about that is that Stoutland actually showed his hand, or showed the organization's hand by responding that way. Like it showed that hey, like they're very, very in tune as to what is being leaked out by the players, by the the coaching staff, and by organization members alike. So to me, like to respond like that, like you're showing the frustration of the organization right off the rip by saying like, hey, like I'm very aware of what you're writing. You're not gonna bait me, pretty much. Like it could have been a bit more subtle, but like to me, like that was the bread and butter of the whole conversation. Like him showing his hand, kind of like, yeah, you're aggravating the shit out of us, pretty much.
It's good though, man. Like again, from the outside looking in, I mean, we're dealing with very different media.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Toronto, we have our own media, but sometimes the Philly media does need to be put in its place, like stuff like that. Like you got to understand, like how is that man,
Especially
gonna answer that
WIP.
question?
Especially
Yeah.
WIP.
How do you expect him to? What went wrong? It's like I'm the offensive line coach. Like he put it perfectly. Like, I don't know how to teach 6-man protection like anyone else in the league. But like, how do you want him to answer that? And then he said, maybe I'll make a memo one day. But
no, he did
do a
say
podcast.
Yes. So I told Liam, I said, Liam, we better start fucking sign him.
yeah, hell yeah, I'll write that book.
Can I
Why
just
not?
have him on a podcast?
I already got it.
You guys remember a celebrity deathmatch?
The shout with Stout.
The shout with Stout. Oh, you want him to have his own podcast, not even be like a feature.
With
you
us,
want Stalin to have his own
with us.
with us.
Well, I think we got the leg up over Jeff McClain. So I mean,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I don't think he's doing anything for the Inquirer anytime soon.
No, absolutely. I mean, and it sucks. Like, companies like that are a bit of a dying breed because of what happened with COVID. But there's ways to kind of work around, in my opinion. If you have access, there's ways to work around what you're going through as a company. But yeah, WIP is trash as well, especially after what they tweeted. The poll they tweeted about Joel Embiid, saying that like, are you mad that he's playing injured or some crap like that?
It says that they said, do you think Joel is acting more injured than he is, or something?
Yeah, like what the hell?
That,
Like, he has a torn meniscus. Like, it's funny. I was texting my brother-in-law the other night, and he's like, "How the Sixers doing or whatever? Isn't Joel Embiid hurt?" I'm like, "He has a torn meniscus," and he's like, "How is he playing with that?" Like, that's what should ring in your ear. Like, the guy has a
Like we all as fans clown people for quote unquote fake an injury. Like when Nelson Aguilar went out and hurt his knee. Hurt his knee in the Patriots game when he dropped the ball and then he immediately grabbed his knee, and I was like, yeah, okay, that's one thing. And then to be a huge media station like you are that has access to all these people, like you're tweeting every morning, we have these guests on, and for you to be like that, oh, is Joel Embiid like faking injury? That's fucked up, man. Like, and the fact that you're also a radio station that thrives on putting polls up again about Deshaun Watson. Like Deshaun Watson comes out, like more reports of females coming out and saying, yeah, Deshaun Watson did this to me. And like 2 seconds later, WIP is like, do you want the Eagles to trade for Deshaun Watson? Like, shut the fuck up. Really. It's tiring, and Angelo is an horny old man. So then, and
we
also
still don't forgive Angelo about what he did.
Also, Al, whatever the fuck his name is, Al Morganti or whatever he stole my tweet, and I still haven't forgiven him for that.
Who?
Al, the other co-host, Al. His name's Al.
What did he steal?
When the Bernie Sanders meme that I made, when the Eagles were making all these head coaching interviews and they were interviewing everybody, and I took Bernie Sanders when the sitting meme that he's sitting at there, and I took him and I put him in front of a door that said head coaching interviews. Oh, it was great. It was a great meme. I was very proud of that. The guy fucking took the picture and tweeted him himself. And he got more likes than I did because obviously he's a racist. So I kept commenting on his thread every day for about a week, saying, "Hey Al, hey Al, hey Al, hey Al, great day we're having, Al. Hey Al, hey, nice picture, hey Al." And he never responded. So
you were trolling him for a whole week to get his attention to that.
And he never responded. I'll tell you right now.
It's like I'm impressed by the pettiness. Like I am. I mean, it's despicable of him to steal a meme.
It is pretty despicable. I mean,
that's like yeah,
especially in the same
that's a 2021 crime right there. Like that's real world problems. But
I'm not a fan of a lot of folks down there. There's some good ones. There's some terrible ones. But at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like a lot of fans know where you could really get your product from nowadays, and it's all about you kind of not pushing the envelope. Like, listen, radio was great. Radio was a great way for us to grow up. Podcasts are the way to go now. And you have access to every single episode for any podcast now.
So it's interesting to me, and I know we're getting off topic here, but it's
Yeah, no,
interesting for
absolutely.
me.
We never get
Outside,
off topic. On
outside
this.
looking in. Yeah, I know. It's really the Morgan effect. But yeah, it's interesting because like for me, and I know I'm gonna get some flack because we are a Philly sports radio and media station, but like Eagles fans, like I get some of the hate, like the Santa Claus thing's always brought up, like okay, whatever. But like Eagles fans, for me, like there's that underdog kind of mentality, and that's like kind of what I identify with. Like for me though, like the Flyers, like I don't know, and then like the Sixers and stuff like that, like it's a different feel. It's a different feel with them. Like the Eagles, like I don't know, they seem more hopeful, and the trusted process is iconic. Like that keeps coming up, but it is interesting that I don't know how to describe it, but I do find the teams it varies with the mood, even though they're all Philly fans. I don't know.
I feel like the
Correct me if
Eagles
I'm wrong.
are more sort of focused. It goes Eagles, it goes Phillies, and then Sixers. I'm a big Sixers fan. I love watching. I grew up in basketball, so that's my thing. I'm not a Phillies fan. I'm a Mets fan, so I could give two shits about them.
So look, here's the picture.
What a meme.
Had a cute.
Here's the picture, and it was from him, from Al. Look at that fucker face right there. And here's my thread. So I said credit to Infante 54 first, who I put it up the same day, but a few hours earlier, so it was obvious. And then so that was the 21st. On the 22nd, I said, good morning, Al. And then later that day, I said, hope you're enjoying your morning. And then the next day, I said, happy Saturday. The next day, I said, can you believe it's already Sunday? The next day, I said, ugh, Mondays are, am I right? And then the same Monday, I said, this day dragged on. It's only Monday. And then on the I messed up a few
Give
days.
this man so much of your time.
I need to know, like, where do you have the time to do all this?
I messed up a few days, and I said, it's finally Thursday. And later on, I said, what a Thursday. What stock did you buy? And then the next day, I said, happy Doge Day. And then the next day, I said, did you think I forgot about you? And then on the first, I said, this snow is something else, man. And on the third, I said, finally finished shoveling. And on the fifth, I said, this one stuff is crazy. And then later that night, I said, good night, Al. And on the sixth, I said, when will the drama end?
Yo,
And on the seventh,
can we have a poll real quick? Like, what is Chris's petty energy like on a scale of
This
one
is
to 10?
man.
Like,
on
I
the
feel
seventh,
like it has
I'm
to
not
be
done.
astronomical.
I'm not done.
You guys had such trouble convincing me to get Twitter, and like I feel like I would just have to show you this
Working on
clip,
Twitter now.
and you would get it. I'm getting off. Like at this point, God forbid I steal someone's meme, and Chris is on my coattail like the
Just
whole thing.
no. My thing is
You
just
said
credit.
college
Just
Monday,
the thing is, like, if you have someone who spent all this time, and for me it was 5 minutes, but like you spent so much time on something that you thought was pretty funny, and then someone's like, "Hey, I'm gonna do it to my audience and pretend." Like, just say like, "Hey, I found this from this person." Like, it's not that hard.
I
It's
really
not that
wish
hard.
I could put a poll in it. Listen, if you're listening to the podcast right now, can you guys comment in the chat on how, like, from a scale of 1 to 10, where's Chris's petty level in that situation?
Oh, I'm always petty, but like the thing is, like, we had a member of PSN many months ago, who did this, who would take stats and take pictures and all this and never credit the person. And that person is no longer with us. But like, it would piss us off. Like, it would be like, it's.
I feel like that's more so a member of a different podcast.
I'm not reading into this.
No, it was, and I'll tell you, I'll mention the name after the podcast. But it was something, and there's another person
You
out
got
there.
a rating of 37 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Of course. There's also other members of other podcasts that do this, like steal stats that they want to mute. Like, there's a certain Eagles podcast out there that took a tweet from Days and Girl in December.
Is it really an Eagles podcast? Like,
It's not. It's not. But,
real quick, let's dissect it. What is an Eagles podcast? What is a football podcast?
A podcast that talks about the Eagles.
Okay, now what comes with talking about the Eagles? Like, what comes with talking about position players? Comes to talking about stats and stuff like that.
Analysis.
Not only that, but research. You know how you research though? Not on Twitter.
So what I'm saying is that this person took a tweet from Dave Zangaro in December of that year. I think it was December 2019, and later on in April, this person put that stat out that he stole from December but it was wrong. Like Dave later on deleted that tweet and put out a right one. So this person stole the wrong tweet and put it out in April and got called out for it, but never.
April 2020 or 2021.
This is why I like talking like vague principles. Like it's like I like to talk about ideas, but again, like you get one number wrong, you get a couple number wrongs.
But now this person has 11,000 followers, so whatever.
11. Oh, that's what we're about. Oh, the chat.
I'm glad I got my lights on in this room, bro. Like I would.
I could have titled this like the petty pod.
Whatever.
Like for today's episode.
Yeah. Ron, what did you miss? We went over our favorite coffees for 20 minutes. Can you beat up a kangaroo? Yes or no?
Ron, can you beat up a kangaroo?
And then we're talking about petty grits on Twitter. So no football, don't worry.
See what happens when I'm back, Ron. See what happens when I'm back.
So
tune in next week when we talk to tune in next week when we talk to Sean Bradley about his favorite coffee.
That's the main thing, Ron. Next week,
we're gonna ask Sean Bradley if he could beat up a kangaroo.
Yes. No, we're not gonna ask Sean Bradley. If we could ask him that, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask him if he thinks Alex Singleton could beat a kangaroo.
Yeah, we're gonna ask him which Philly defender does he think that could beat a kangaroo?
That dude gives me Australian vibes. Like if you would tell me that
cannot beat a kangaroo.
Jordan Mailata.
So we have to ask him if Jordan Mailata or Matt Leo, because Matt Leo came through Australia also.
I think Jordan Mailata could dismantle a kangaroo.
Can they beat a kangaroo?
Jordan Mailata is mass, man. Do you see that picture that Lane Johnson shared of them? It was like fee fi fo fum. Which is hard. But that dude is huge.
Also, Jordan Mailata is a freaking rugby player and at that size. So yeah, I think he can. I think he can hold his own against a kangaroo.
Does anybody have an issue with the fact that Jordan Mailata is a rugby player and there was never any trick plays involving him?
That's my thing. Like, why wasn't he a fullback?
Like, there's never been any Mailata running play,
or a transition into defensive tackle. Like
if he's not your starting left tackle, I would love to see him at fullback. But like you don't just move a guy like that.
Why not? Listen,
you could. A trick, but he's got to catch a touchdown. That's all I want.
That's
trick play, catch a touchdown. He's got
run a touchdown, like 50 yards, just running down the field.
He's got to be the Trey Burton on the next Philly special. He's got to be the one.
Brian seems like the guy on Madden that
he's going to take the ball. He's going to take the ball and like rugby throw it for a Philly touchdown. For the Philly,
I'm going to try it on Madden. I don't think it'll let me, but I'm going to try it. I think the big guy could catch. I
can. Yes, Jeff, I can catch.
Not you. They are sandbagging Mailata's trick plays. I completely agree with that. Like, you don't have a talent like that and just not do anything.
I mean, here we are talking.
If we were the coaches, you know what happens.
This is the problem, though. Andy Reid's watching this. All those people watching this, and now we gave away their secrets.
That's right. Andy's a big fan of the show.
Yeah. He's just a big fan.
Who's not a big fan of Andy?
Le'Veon
Bell, who's not a big fan of anybody.
Hey, we're talking petty level, bro. That's petty.
Have you ever seen a player like just completely?
If we did not have Boston Scott, I would say I want Le'Veon Bell.
Wait, what do you mean? We have Kenny Gainwell.
I know. Yeah, he's RB2. But if we did not have RB3, Boston Scott, I would say Le'Veon Bell would be a good.
Wait a minute. So okay, we've actually talked about this about 2 pods ago. You're saying who's your RB3?
Boston Scott.
You're saying your Boston Scott is your RB3 over Kerryon and Jordan Howard.
Right now, yes, because he's been there, and I think
Jordan Howard has been there.
I will say, after listening to the running back coach, I do think Boston Scott's a lock. I think he makes it.
I think it goes. I think it goes Miles. I think it goes Kenny G, and then it goes Boston Scott. Right now, do I think Kerryon can? Do I think Kerryon can leap over Boston Scott? Absolutely, and then Boston Scott's probably just like right now. I see it as the 2017 Eagles running back rotation, as you have probably Miles. And right now, Miles Sanders is more of the Blount.
Okay.
Than he is the JHI. You have Kenny G, who's probably that JHI. Okay. You have Kerryon Johnson, who's probably that Corey Clement.
So then Boston Scott's not on your roster if that's the case.
Boston Scott is probably your Kenya Barner, probably your kick returner, special teams guy.
But Boston Scott can return a freaking kick. Yes, he's like Greg Ward out there.
So
at least Boston Scott's fast.
They're both
What-
wasting spots.
Derek Ward's not fast.
what I heard from, and again, feel free to watch like this back and do your own analysis. But from what I heard from the interview with Jamal is, I think
You guys on
Kenny's
first name basis? You just call him Jamal?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
gets them all the time.
yeah. Sorry, Mr. Singleton. Yeah, what I heard from Sir Singleton was
Sir Singleton. Wait, what the
yeah.
hell is that Canadian thing?
Yes, Esquire. I don't know what his titles are.
I'm gonna go to Tim Hortons tomorrow and be like, listen, sir, can I get a pay?
Yeah, gentlemen. Anyways, he's a good dude. Another great interview, but I think they're gonna bring Kenny G on slow, man. Like immediately when they talk about him, he's like, he's a rookie. He's gonna make mistakes.
No, like,
I think it's pass pro.
Off. Like, let the rookie play. Let him learn
It's
from his
pass pro.
mistakes.
It's pass pro, and you can tell. You can just tell by the way, like it's pass pro. He
laid out
pass pro.
freaking. Why always forget the guy's
Yeah,
name, bro?
it's one play.
He laid out
Mika
Parsons. There we go. Or Michael Parsons, whatever the hell you call him. Anybody calls him.
Yeah,
Number 11.
I call him Sir Parsons, but that's just me. But
I just think in the long run, I think it'll be Sanders, Gainwell, Johnson, Scott. But I think
You don't think Howard makes the roster?
No, I don't think he does.
see, I let you have it for the voice coach, Bryan.
He legit said like before the Eagles called, he was about to retire, or something like that. He didn't think he would be in the market.
Hear me out.
So
Howard and Johnson are great. Not great. They're very good at pass blocking.
That's a hotel.
All right. Kerryon Johnson and Jordan Howard are really good at pass protection, and that's something that Nick Sirianni values. Boston Scott cannot protect against the pass. He can't even pick up the right person.
That's why I'm saying I think he might be a special teams guy, but I think he still makes the roster.
I think I agree with Chris, but I say Kerryon's your number 2. I think.
Oh, you say Kerryon number 2?
It goes Sanders, Kerryon, Boston Scott, then Kenny G.
Yeah, I think Boston Scott's your kick returner. And I think your punt returner is probably not Greg Ward. I think it's going to be Rager. But I think
it should be Quez Watkins.
I think Boston Scott's your kick returner.
I think both of them should be Quez Watkins.
I think he's your Kenja Barner.
Do you know what I miss?
Boston Scott should be cut.
I miss defensive players that are returners. I don't know why, but like they just look so excited when they finally get the ball in their hands.
Devin got some guys. Freaking phenomenal guy.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sorry, did I just completely steal that from you?
No. It's fine. There's other examples. I just can't think of any right now.
Patrick Peterson.
Yeah. Again, like these corners. These corners. I feel like
keep forgetting he's on Minnesota now.
Oh, and he's wearing the number
7. He's wearing 7.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't fit. Listen, we do got a question in the chat real quick before I lose it. From Billy Covington Jr. Does anyone believe that Zach Ertz will end up Tennessee? Hell no, absolutely not.
No.
Buffalo.
He's going
Buffalo.
I think it's Buffalo.
Yeah.
I think the there are 2 teams that may come in, either Carolina or Jacksonville, but
Tennessee can't pay him.
I think Tennessee won't pay him, and I think Buffalo just makes way too much sense. It makes way too much sense. You add Zach Ertz to Buffalo, they're an immediate Super Bowl contender, maybe even favorite in the AFC. I think Zach Ertz, for what everybody, even including myself, want to rag him on him for next year. I mean last year and how bad he was. If you get him to Buffalo on a team with Stefon Diggs, Josh Allen,
Cole Beasley,
all pro Cole Beasley. Sorry, I think he freaking motivates himself there. Like I think, and they have a really good defense. I think they would be.
The linebacker.
Yeah, they would have a legitimate shot at the Super Bowl with Zach Ertz there. Like before, you had Dawson Knox. What the hell is Dawson Knox doing? Nothing.
He had the 2 games that was like fantasy worthy, but after that, he completely disappeared.
Well, and you guys compare Greg Ward in a way to Zach Ertz. And I get the comparison, but I mean, you're talking about Cole Beasley and what the Bills were able to do with him. Like that is a good comparison for Zach Ertz. I think that he'd have a great year. I mean, Cole won me so many fantasy games last year. Like, I know he was a Dallas guy for a long time, but
Cole Beasley is the freaking ego killer, man. Like he never had huge games, but he had always had huge catches. And then he's just a little freaking pesky little motherfucker.
We do.
He looks like a crackhead.
The fact of the day from wow, that is so terrible.
He does.
The fact of the day from Jay Fizzle. Boston fumbles on kick return and punt return.
Okay, Fizzle fumbles on a lot of stuff too, but we don't see calling him out.
Bro, Boston Scott should not be on his roster. Like, come on, he's very overrated. It's starting to piss me off.
You know what? Also shouldn't be on this podcast right now. It's been an hour and 10 minutes. I gotta go to bed.
Listen, your bread and butter is like an hour 30. I don't want to hear that.
I'm not going an hour 30 today.
Baby steps. He's been on for a while.
I'm out of the game.
All right, that's fine. Listen, we'll be back next week, guys, with Sean Bradley on the podcast.
For those of you just joining us next week, we will be joined by the Eagles' second-year linebacker, Sean Bradley.
Just repeated what I said.
Hey, Chris is going to be busy messaging people who steal his memes on Twitter, but if you guys have any questions and stuff like that, I'll make a post this week on my Twitter, and feel free to shout out questions if you guys got any questions. I know you can hit up Bryan too, but my Twitter's new, so I'm using it as a plug, but feel free to
do it, man.
Shoot me a question.
I will probably be searching the Twitter webs.
Yeah.
See who
you need to leave that man alone, bro. Don't hit that man up.
I haven't messaged him since February.
But I feel like you have an itch now because we've talked about it. Don't hit that man up.
I might bring it up again.
All right, guys. I'm Bryan Cameron.
I'm telling you right now, if WIP has another stupid ass poll, I'm gonna tag.
But that Joel Embiid poll really pissed me off. That was very uncalled for.
I'm gonna tag him in that.
But yeah, I'm Bryan Cameron. He's Morgan Burkett. He's Chris Infante, and we're flipping the birds.
Go Birds.
Yes, sir.